What's going on, everyone? Welcome into Falcons Today by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here with an interesting NFL news story that might pertain to the Falcons. We'll have to wait and see. But the biggest story out there is on Stefon Diggs, who did not show up to mandatory minicamp, or he did show up to mandatory minicamp. It's a bit unclear, but we will discuss the idea of Diggs potentially forcing his way out of another team, and if he could end up being dealt to the Falcons. Now, the story starts this morning when Adam Scheefter kind of broke the news-ish. Well, I don't know if it's really hardcore news because we'll talk about it later on. Anywho, Bills head coach Sean McDermott told reporters today that he is very concerned that wide receiver Stefon Diggs is not at Buffalo's mandatory minicamp today. So we have McDermott saying that Diggs is not at minicamp, and he is very concerned. Seems pretty black and white, right? Well, not so fast. Scheefter himself then tweeted out an hour later that Diggs' agent said his client is in Buffalo, has been in Buffalo since yesterday morning, took his physical, met with the head coach and the GM the past 2 days, and the Pro Bowl wide receiver will be there for the entirety of the minicamp. There's been a lot of rumors circulating around whether or not he is actually there, and I don't understand why this is a tough question to answer. Is he at minicamp or not, right? McDermott said he wasn't. The agent said he's going to be there for the entirety of the minicamp. Now, to me, this last tweet here sort of read like Scheefter just copy and pasted something that the agent sent him, trying to put out a fire, kind of like Vinny's publicist and entourage, just trying to mitigate the damage right now and not let this take on a life of its own. But it's a bit bizarre that we are getting conflicting reports on something that's very black and white. Were you at minicamp or not, right? Did you go to the store or did you not go to the store? We should be able to solve this pretty quickly, but I've heard a lot of conflicting tweets and reports out there about Stefon Diggs at the Bills minicamp. So, if he's not there, could he be forcing his way out? Well, that's the second half of today's show. Now, before we get into that, we've got a sub battle still going with Vikings Now here at Chat Sports. If you're getting a bit tired of hearing our sub battle about Vikings Now, well, subscribe. Let's beat them to 13,000 subs, and we can raise the W, fly the winning flag, and take down Vikings Now. Plus, you can get free Falcons YouTube content for subscribing, getting absolutely all the best coverage all off-season long. But oh boy, I mean, let's break down the possibility that Stefon Diggs is upset and he wants out of Buffalo, and maybe Atlanta would make some sense as a trade destination if it eventually gets to that point. This can't be about a new contract. Let's start there, because when holdouts happen, 99% of the time, it's about the player wanting a new contract. That definitely is not the case for Stefon Diggs, because he recently signed, as Field Yates pointed out, a 4-year, $96 million contract with $70 million guaranteed. So I really doubt it's about a new contract. He's got a great contract. Maybe he wants some more money, but he's getting paid a lot of money already, so I doubt the Bills would be interested in adding to what is already a very fair and generous contract with 70 G's guaranteed. Now, if the Bills end up trading him, which I really don't believe is going to end up happening, but crazier things have happened in the NFL, it's not good for Buffalo. I mean, the dead cap hit is $45 million. Now, they could split it over 2 off seasons, this year with $13 million and next year with $31 million, but they're not saving any money, right? There's not even a silver lining here where, well, at least they do save some money they can spend, $1.6 million. Financially, it makes 0 cents. Squash, zilch, almost as much of the cap savings as they would get to trade Stefon Diggs. So Buffalo has no motivation to do this to get a big contract off their books, right? It's not like Arizona and DeAndre Hopkins where they were looking to reset a little bit. No, this is the scene out of Moneyball. Buffalo would be paying him $45 million to play against them. They do not want that. They want to have him on their sideline, and they definitely don't want to be on another team's sideline and paying him $45 million to be with the Chiefs or the Bengals or something like that, which that'd be the last place they ended up trading him if they ever did. Now, we're going to unpack the idea of the Falcons being a potential suitor for Diggs if it continues to boil and get to that point. But what do you guys think? Do you think the Falcons should trade for Stefon Diggs? Like, if you were Terry Fontenot, would you pick up the phone and do whatever it takes to get Stefon down to Atlanta? T for trade or P for pass? Sound off for me down in the comments section. Stefon Diggs is a very, very, very good football player. That kind of goes without saying, but a bit of a diva-ish. I don't know the guy on a personal level. All I have to go off of is what I've heard in interviews and his stats and things like that. But he forced his way out of Minnesota, and now I'm not saying he's forcing his way out of Buffalo, but if he is indeed skipping minicamp and it's not contract related, I don't know what else it could be. But we are getting some diva tendencies, and he might not want to be with the Bills. Again, I don't quite know what the real reasoning is, if there is even a story behind this, right? Maybe he got the dates wrong. Maybe he slept in. I don't know. But I do know this. Stefon Diggs can transcend a young quarterback. He took Josh Allen miles ahead of his progression after his rookie season, right? 3 straight years of not being a 1,000-yard receiver, but being a 1,200-plus yard receiver. 21 touchdowns over the last 2 years. Stefon Diggs, without a doubt, is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. The numbers show it every single year. So if you want to help your young rookie quarterback out, Stefon Diggs is the man for the job, okay? You look at what Diggs did when he was with Josh Allen compared to Josh Allen before Stefon Diggs. I mean, his completion percentage jumped up 9 points. Now, there was some coaching that went along with it, but still, you can see how Josh Allen took a huge jump forward when he had Diggs out wide compared to when he didn't have Stefon Diggs. His quarterback rating went up 20 points. Of course, he's played in nearly 20 more games, but still, the touchdown to interception ratio is insane. So, with a young quarterback in Atlanta like Desmond Ridder, be nice to Desmond Ridder, Diggs would definitely make his life a lot easier, right? That's kind of Captain Obvious speaking here. But if you want to get the best out of Desmond Ridder, getting Stefon Diggs would surely help you in doing that, right? You would definitely learn everything there is to know about Desmond Ridder if he has Stefon Diggs to throw to, right? If he's not a good quarterback, well, you probably figured out if you have a future in there because you gave him plenty to work with. And if he is a good quarterback, great. You've got what's going on in Buffalo right now where Stefon Diggs sort of helps bring along a young quarterback, and then poof, the Bills are a powerhouse, and they could be the same in Atlanta. So now would you trade for Stefon Diggs? Has your mind changed over the last couple of minutes, knowing that Desmond Ridder's stock would definitely skyrocket if he has Drake London and Stefon Diggs to throw to, Kyle Pitts over the seam, and if nothing's there, check it down to Bijan Robinson. That is an extremely underrated offense for Atlanta. Oh, and by the way, top 5 offensive line to go along with it too. So there are definitely a lot of pros to pursuing Stefon Diggs if he truly is available. Now, speaking of available, I'm not quite sure how much longer these shirts will be on the market, but they are currently 40% off. When I say they, I mean 2 shirts. 2-shirt combo deal. You don't just get 1 Falcons t-shirt, you get 2. So go to chatsports.com/ATL shirt combo. I put the link in the comments and the description of today's show. So if you're looking to reset your Falcons wardrobe a little bit and you want to do it while, also saving some money and being financially smart, well, you can get 2 awesome shirts basically for the price of 1 with a 40% off deal. So we don't need to spend too much time on this, but maybe for some we do, for some others we don't. We know the Falcons need a wide receiver, right? I'm not going to be as critical as I've been before because that's just beating a dead horse. But there's no doubt that Stefon Diggs is a step up from Mack Hollins and Scotty Miller as your wide receivers 2 and 3. I mean, honestly, Drake London then becomes your wide receiver 2, and Diggs comes in as a wide receiver 1. This is a wide receiver room that does not have a lot of experience, right? Mack Hollins has the most experience of the bunch, and he's got 1,400 yards in his career. Drake London was phenomenal his rookie season, I thought. 866 yards in a run-first offense with inconsistent quarterback play. There's a lot of potential and promise there for London to be a 1,000-yard receiver and more in his second year. Now, if you want to add to that wide receiver room with a big upgrade like Stefon Diggs, it's going to cost you. Probably what it cost the Bills to get him, a first-round pick. He's older now than he was when he got traded to Buffalo, but he's also been better with the Bills than he was with the Vikings, I would argue. So I think his value is probably about the same, especially for a future first, right? When Stefon Diggs got traded to the Bills from the Vikings, Minnesota knew which pick they were getting. It was after the season was over. Where now, Buffalo has no idea what pick they are getting. And if they don't know, they're not going to settle for a second. Because teams, when they trade future first, they don't know the pick of, that's a big equation because the 25th overall pick in the draft is way different than the 10th or the 12th overall pick in the draft. So that always factors into the equation a little bit. It might surprise you to see this, but I think I'm actually going to pass on trading for Stefon Diggs. Would he make this team better for 2023? Yes. Is this team a wide receiver away from winning a Super Bowl in 2023 on a huge contract and giving up a first? No. Right? This is why I would say no, too. If Diggs is not happy in Buffalo, wasn't happy in Minnesota, why is he going to be happy in Atlanta? I mean, it's not a knock on the city or anything like that. I'm saying, what reason do we have to believe that after the 2023 season, if Stefon Diggs and the Falcons go, 10-7, make the postseason, lose in the first round or something, he's not going to be right where he is right now, where the Bills were, once again, a bit of an early playoff exit, didn't get to the AFC Championship game, didn't get to the Super Bowl, and Diggs is going to be frustrated again next year, and then all of a sudden, it'll be Atlanta trading away an older player for probably less than what it cost them and having a huge contract on their books. I just don't think it makes a lot of sense for what the Falcons are trying to do right now. If Atlanta was coming off a great postseason run, then sure, you go all chips in and you hope you can win one and it'll all be worth it, just like the Rams. But I'm not going to stand up here and act like the Falcons are one wide receiver costing you a first-round pick and a huge contract on your books away from going on a deep postseason run. So for that reason, I'm passing. I'm holding on to my first-round pick. And then you're picking, hopefully, the next Stefon Diggs in next year's draft if you still need a wide receiver by then. Thank you all so much for tuning in and taking time out of your day to come hang out with producer Rolly and I. If you enjoyed today's show, make sure to subscribe down below. We keep you guys informed and entertained all off season long.